Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our panelists, Dilip and Nitin. Welcome to Zenov Confluence, the innovation track. We hope you had a lot of interesting and insightful sessions in the last 3 days, and keeping in line with our overall theme of anti-fragility and looking at the new normal post-COVID. We hope some of the insights that were shared were quite relevant and useful in these times. Uh, just to set a little bit of context, what we find is that a lot of corporate leaders actually see a lot of value in startup collaborations, and they see that startups are continually able to innovate and provide key business solutions. In fact, we've seen a steady rise in the number of accelerators, incubators, corporate venture capitals, and all of those. But however, still feel that there are a lot of organizations, both big and small, young and old, that are still dabbling with how to get it right in terms of working with startups, collaborating, reaching certain tangible outcomes. So, with that context, over the next 20 minutes, I'll probably want to pick your brains on understanding how you went about your corporate startup corporate programs, and essentially what are the challenges you faced, what are the outcomes you arrived at, and potentially certain things that you could have done differently, so that all the different types of organizations that we have as part of the audience could learn from the same. So maybe I'll start off with you, Nitin. Been part of a startup yourself, founded Zerodha about 10 years ago, and you constantly been innovating within the organization itself, right? In terms of the pricing business models, in terms of transparency that you brought in, a very lean product team with a very novel UI UX. So having done all of those things internally, what is the key driver or what is the trigger for you to very actively look at engaging with the ecosystems and startups in particular?
Yeah, thanks for getting me on this. So around 2014-15, we had spent 5 years of running the business, and we started feeling that while the business, Zerodha as a business, when we started, it was all meant for traders, right? It was, we were building a product for someone who had an intent to invest or trade in the market, or someone who had an intent to learn, right? So we had products around learning and around, execution. But then that's when we realized that that audience is a really tiny audience in the country. So maybe 5 to 6 million people actively invest in the country right now per year, right? Which is like a 0.4% of the population. Right? And that was when we realized that if we have to grow, we have to grow the ecosystem, right? And it's not enough to just get someone on the platform. It has to be niche experiences that can get in. Now we had an option one to kind of build all of these ideas ourselves, or kind of go and partner startups and do it together. And we took the latter option because you know we knew that even the core business that we were going after, the ones which where people wanted help in execution or education, was a big enough kind of audience. So yes, the trigger was that. The trigger was the realization that the markets in India are quite shallow, and to grow the market, we need to maybe have a Uber, WhatsApp kind of a moment, and we didn't really know what is the right kind of an idea, and so we said, let's start backing startups. So we call the initiative as Rain Matter. One of the enablers of the initiative was also this thing called Kite Connect APIs that we launched. We launched this in 2015 that allowed startups to come build on top of us. Right? So without those APIs, this initiative wouldn't have been of any use. So once we had these APIs that allowed a startup to kind of almost think of us as Android and think of all the startups as Play Store. Right? So we gave them we just didn't give them APIs for execution. We gave APIs for onboarding, for compliance. And in the business of money, the biggest challenge is people don't trust you very easily, right? I will spend 500 rupees on an e-commerce website, but I won't spend 500 rupees, or I won't save 500 rupees on a random website. People want to know if, as soon as it's saving and investing, they want to know if the startup is going to survive. So what we did, when we invested with the startups, is we also gave our brand along with it. So a lot of our customers who saw these products from the startups, they actually thought that this is from Zerodha itself. And which meant that we gave all of these startups that breathing space to onboard customers, try out the product, validate the product. Yeah, so it's turned out quite well. We have invested in around 12 startups today, focusing on fintech and investing, and they're probably some of the coolest fintech investment startups in the country today.
Awesome, awesome. That's quite interesting because uh, except probably in the SaaS world, we don't really hear too much of startups partnering with other startups, either directly or in terms of mentoring and stuff. Speaking of platforms, right? I want to bring in Dileep here. Dileep, Edison's been a very powerful platform and a tool that enables and empowers startups to build their solutions on. So, what was the key driver? Like we heard Nitin's story. G is a behemoth, right? It's an elephant in the room. So, what was the key driver in terms of having you have that conversation with the right people to get that started and running?
Well, I think bring in a great point. Nitin talked some very interesting facts. For us in healthcare industry, if you think about it, and today probably everyone understands the importance and need of healthcare industry to succeed with lot more contribution from lots of areas today, a lot more than any other time. For us, I think the beginning of this was to really look at the possibilities of our customers who are looking for solutions, not just one, but multiple solution options. And what we have seen in last 3 years, the growth of healthcare startups globally has quadrupled or actually gone beyond that. In India itself, we have nearly 16% of the startups focusing on healthcare. Globally also, we have seen in various trade fairs and everywhere, you see startups coming with some of the amazing solutions. And what we started looking at is the need for about 5.8 billion people across the world is to have a solution which is affordable, accessible, and accurate. And today, startups are so much focused on these accuracy piece, lot more. I think because of their ability to innovate quickly, ability to be agile, ability to pivot quickly, they are able to deliver a lot of solutions on the accuracy piece. But when it comes to access, it becomes very challenging. And this is where the platform comes into picture. The platform that we created, not only for their interaction with us or working with us, gives them an opportunity to get mentored as well as make those solutions ready for global audience. It also gives them an entire customer base that we have today. We have more than 2 million devices in the field, and all these devices become a possible transporter of their solutions. And for us, the incentive was the opportunity we give our customers to use different solutions. Today, if I want to look at my mobile phone, an application on calculator itself, there will be 100 people who have provided, and one can choose. In healthcare, it is very difficult. It's very difficult to really choose the different applications once you are married to a particular brand.
Right.
Whereas we want to provide that through the platform, and the availability of the talent is so enormous. And use of this platform actually gives customers huge amount of choices. And that was our motivation.
Got it. Got it. So we've looked at the driver, the why part of the question. So let's kind of change tracks and quickly look at how you operationalize it, how you set it up, and how you scale it. What were probably the top 2 or 3 challenges that you saw and you were potentially able to overcome to get it up and running? Maybe I'll start with Dileep on this one. If you could just talk about some of those and maybe in hindsight things that you could have done differently or certain interventions you could have had.
Yeah. I think you mentioned it, elephant, right? You named a large corporation as an elephant, and it's truly so.
Yeah.
Like an elephant, the momentum that organizations have, if they are stationary, they remain stationary. If they are moving, they start moving. But I think making them move is a big challenge. And I think our biggest challenge when we started talking about this ecosystem using open innovation, bringing in external talent, develop solutions, and making that as a part of our own suite of solutions. Convincing people internally was the first big challenge. The peers, the leadership.
Right.
What's going to be the outcome for it? What's the business model that we bring in?
Right.
And how is this going to play in the long run? I think it's a lot of communication, a lot of convincing, a lot of scenario planning with a lot of leadership. The second challenge was in terms of getting the next level to get convinced that they should be willing to work with startups. We have people who have spent their lifetime in healthcare, who are known as the gurus in healthcare, and for them to really open up and start sharing their knowledge, the mentorship with the external talent is something that we need to really create a new ecosystem there. The third challenge was, when you open these kind of opportunities for startups to come and collaborate with us, the fear in startups about, how can I work with a company which is working on same technologies? I mean, am I having any challenge in terms of my technology being used by a large company, or is there any fear? Am I going to be in any kind of IP issues? The fear, the apprehension, I think that you have to break. And this requires a lot of leadership communication, a constant, bringing in a comfort factor for the startups and bringing in a comfort factor for the organization that, look, this is the way forward. The third, for these organizations to be successful in driving these kind of solutions, you need to create a very good structure. Organization structure which is going to support the vision of the organization. You need to have the leadership structure that is created, which is dedicatedly running these programs, providing a constant support to these startups. Because look, these startups are like deer. They run fast. Their agility, their ability to really move in different directions is so good. And like you said, we are elephant. And now combining elephant and deer and making them run in one direction and have the same pace is going to be a very different thing. So we had to do a lot of things to really overcome these challenges, and that really was a journey.
Right. So, same question, Nitin. Probably a very different set of challenges to what Dileep must have faced. But would love to know your thoughts on what went right, what perhaps could have, required some tailoring.
Actually, I mean, see, the thing is, I think we kind of got lucky that, so we're a bootstrap business. So I think one of the challenges for startups is to deploy your own capital into someone else, right? I mean, if you have taken external capital. So thankfully for us, I think, the fact that we were putting cash, which is generated by the business, meant that we didn't really have to go to, a professional investor and get an approval before doing these investments. So I think the edge for us as a business is the agility, right? Like how Dileep was saying. So we are like the deer, which we take decision in 2 minutes. Right? Like there have been checks that we've cut. Like the guy walks in, it takes us 5 minutes to say, okay, dude, let's do this together, and we cut the check in. So I think that's what's worked very well for us, and that's the reason I think a lot of startups have come to us. I think the challenge for us has been, is that a lot of these startups, sometimes might feel that what if Zerodha ends up doing the same thing, right? As in just to, I think, just to make sure that the startup knows that this is not something that we're going after. This is something that we're going after by partnering you, the startup. Convincing that is the big challenge, because otherwise, in today's world, all of these things are, we could potentially just go after each and every opportunity ourselves, right? And so convincing the startup has actually had been the biggest challenge for us. But then, after first 4 or 5 investments, people have seen how we operate, which is, we are kind of going after a different market altogether, and the startups are going after a different market altogether. So that way, now it's quite straightforward, So, but this, I think, in this 10 years of building this business, I've had the most excitement partnering with these startups and building these products together.
That's awesome. So just shifting gears a little bit and moving to how you were measuring outcomes, or in a way measuring the efficacy of what you were doing. and just to ensure that you're going on the right track, or if all the metrics or all the North Stars are looking good. From that standpoint, how did you measure it? Because a lot of it was novel, a lot of it was not very readily available playbooks. Figure it out as you move. So maybe if I know there's already one cohort that's out and the second cohort's probably in progress. So is there any strategy around how you looked at outcomes and kind of very solidified that before you kind of went back and worked from there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I think, when we started working on this, one of the things that we knew, the first cohort will be the most difficult one. Because we're entering a zone where for startups as well as for us, it's going to be new. And it's an arranged marriage that needs to work. And the success of that, we decided that, look, I think we definitely will know there will be some failures. We were not expecting that every startup will end up delivering something that's going to be impactfully market solution. We were looking at a solution that could really give us at least 50% will be able to deliver that. And what we did during the time was, I think we put together a few external support factors as well. External mentors, one for mentoring the startups as well as mentoring our own teams. Because look, it's not the external, it's not that the startups only need mentorship, even our teams need mentorship when they're working on that. So we created that support structure to make sure people are getting that support. And on the success itself, what we put our goals was, when you get these startups we picked up the startups from 230 plus startups who applied. We picked up the ones who were very close to really achieving some kind of a success in their own way. Now, how do you convert that into a global possibility? Because what is needed in India is not the same thing that can work in the rest of the world. So we picked up something which is easily moldable, easily changeable, easily modifiable to the next level of finish. And that's what we picked up. And we were really pretty glad to see how the startups really worked with us. Initial few months was a challenge for us to work together, figuring out, what's a mode of operation that's going to be a most efficient one. But by the end, we got into a arrangement which was working perfect, and we got a few solutions that were implemented together on the platform, and that we are glad to see that it will become now the impactful solution for a lot of customers. So we never looked at 100% success. We looked at even 30% success is a great success. Because if you want to enter open innovation zone or any innovation zone, the first thing we need to be ready to do is to accept a possible failure and plan that. And then any success that comes is a bonus.
Yeah. I think that's a good term that you mentioned, right? One is how you look at ones that are close to what you want, and essentially look at, in a way, a very brutal internal Shark Tank kind of a setup to do that initial screening, because identification of right startups is probably one of the most important things for you to build those platforms and do the right kind of mentorship. So Nitin, just bringing you in here a little bit, we spoke about outcomes. You mentioned that it was more opportunistic. It was more, in a way, you wanted to partner with startups to work on solutions that you anyway had wanted, and there were internal use cases within Zerodha that you had. But now that you have 12 startups on board, has there been a slight change in strategy in terms of looking at specific outcomes outside of potentially what could directly benefit Zerodha as well?
Yeah. No, I mean, so the thing is, the outcome for us has been the product. I mean, we have not really looked at outcome in terms of revenues or users and etc. Right. So the outcome for us has been, we start on day one with an idea to build a next product with which does YZ kind of things, right? And for us, outcome has been build the product out, and we've been again I don't know if too many businesses have been in a lucky spot like us. So we had this whole rush of users over the last 2-3 years. So so user acquisition for that particular product was also quite easy. So today for us, the benefit for us today is that we are that platform where our customers get access to all of these products at one place, right? So that has become that's been the benefit for the business as such, right? So we haven't really looked at outcome in terms of just user acquisition and things like that. For us, it's been more build the right product and users will automatically follow either directly to that startup or they will indirectly come through
Got
us. So that's how
Got
we've
it.
been looking at this.
Got it. So I think some great insights and learnings, gentlemen. I think we're running a little short of time. We have a whole bunch of questions. We'll probably, if you guys are okay with it, we'll pass it on to you offline and perhaps get some answers from you and share it with the audience. But just in summary, I think what we're trying to have the audience take away from this is startup collaborations do not need to be the imperative of only the larger organizations. There are larger organizations, smaller organizations, young ones, old ones. All of these type of organizations could look strategically at startup collaborations from an ecosystem standpoint as well as an internal solutioning standpoint, and therefore would probably be closely tied to your organizational strategy itself in a way. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the sessions. Over to you, Gautam.
Thank you.